I mean, where do we even start with the Pittsburgh Steelers right now? It's not about looking for some hot take or trying to stir the pot. It's just the plain, cold truth. This is not a good football team. That's it. No spin, no sugarcoating. You can look at every angle, every play, every snap from this game against the Packers, and what stares you right in the face is a team that looks confused, disjointed, and clearly overmatched. Final score: Green Bay Trina E5, Pittsburgh Vint E5, and even that margin doesn't really tell the full story of how outclassed the Steelers were. Now, before the game, there was this lingering hope that maybe, just maybe, we'd see some signs of life, especially from the defense. Remember all that talk during the week about how the defense was the focus, about how a loss would be acceptable if there were signs of progress on that side of the ball. Yeah, that aged like milk, because what we saw instead was a second-half collapse of epic proportions. The Steelers went into halftime with a lead, possesses a seat, and then it was like they just walked off the field and never came back. After the break, Green Bay marched down the field again and again, scoring touchdown after touchdown, adding field goals, and ultimately ending every possession with points. Jordan Love looked like a superstar. He completed Vint passes in a row. Not a typo. Vint. Straight. No interceptions. No sacks. Just clean, efficient, dominating football. And what makes it worse? The Steelers actually did stop the run. Green Bay needed Vint E6 corridas to get novena e cuatro yardas. That's a modest 3.6 yardas por tentativa. But the old theory that if you stop the run, you'll stop the pass got blown to bits. Because that's all the Steelers stopped. They didn't pressure Love. They didn't cover receivers. They didn't even put up resistance in the flats or the middle of the field. Every single element of pass defense failed. And when we're talking about how Love carved them up, let's not ignore the fact that it wasn't just dink and dunk passes. He was hitting chunk plays, deep routes, crossing patterns, everything. He finished with Trey Zinto's E60 yardas, E-trace touchdowns, and it honestly felt like it could have been more if Green Bay needed it. Now, it's easy to pile on the defense, and let's be real, they deserve it, but let's not pretend the offense gets a free pass here. This wasn't some masterclass on that side of the ball either. There were a few individual efforts that stood out. Jaylen Warren ran hard early on and gave the team some juice, especially in the first half. But as the game wore on, Pittsburgh simply stopped giving him the ball. Just one carry in the first quince minutos do segundo tempo. That's coaching malpractice. He was producing, and they just abandoned him. It makes no sense. Then you look at the receivers, and man, it's like a bad comedy at this point. Drops, missed routes, miscommunication. Darnell Washington was forced into offensive line duty due to injury, which basically removed the tight ends as a factor in the passing game. They combined for 30 yards. That's it, in a game where they were trailing and needed to throw. The offensive strategy still feels like it's built around hiding the offensive line's weaknesses instead of letting the offense dictate terms. And when your quarterback, whoever it is at that point, looks constantly under pressure or unsure, it all starts to fall apart. Let's talk about that vibe in the locker room after the game. It was heavy, and not just because of the loss, but also because of the injury to Deshaun Elliott. That knee injury looked brutal. If someone tries to show you the replay, don't watch it. Seriously, not only is he one of the few guys who can cover and tackle, but losing him just adds to the sense that this defense is spiraling. That secondary, already shaky, now has one less piece to work with. And you could feel the mood shift. This wasn't just a team upset about a bad night. This felt like a group that realized something is seriously wrong. And here's the thing, this isn't new. These issues didn't suddenly show up against Green Bay. The Steelers have been getting cooked in the secondary since week 1. They now rank out of Trenta E. Doy's teams in total defense. Against the pass, dead last. And not just barely. We're talking a massive gap between them and the next worst team. They're allowing almost Vint Jardas amaze poor Jogo through the air than the Dallas Cowboys, who are ranked 31st. That's not a slump. That's not just a bad couple of weeks. That's a full-blown identity crisis on defense. Mike Tomlin, when asked whether this is a scheme problem or an execution issue, basically said it's both. He mentioned that the problems are repetitive, that they're not getting better fast enough. But let's be honest here. They're not getting better at all. They're getting worse. You can see it in the numbers. You can see it in the eye test. You can see it in the scoreboard. Every week, another offense finds another way to expose them. Matt LaFleur had his fun with this group, just like other coaches have in recent weeks. And it's not just big plays. It's every play. First down, second down, third down, fourth down, it doesn't matter. Teams are moving the ball at will. Remember that two-point conversion from the Packers in the second half? Romeo Dew was so wide open, it looked like a glitch in a video game. There wasn't a single Steelers defender within 30 yards. On a two-point play, that's supposed to be one of the most tightly contested situations in football. And there's Dew, standing alone on an island like he's waiting for a bus. You want to talk about firing a defensive coordinator? That play alone might be Exhibit A. And yet, here we are, still having the same conversations. Week after week, there are no new solutions being offered. It's all just about tackling better and playing harder, as if the answer is just effort. Effort isn't going to fix blown coverages. Effort isn't going to suddenly make a scheme effective. And effort definitely isn't going to teach these guys how to identify a route concept and actually stop it before it turns into another big gain. Some players were asked whether this was a confidence issue, if maybe the defense just doesn't believe in itself anymore. Most of them, including Juan Thornhill, said no. They insisted there's no lack of belief. But if that's true, then the alternative is even worse. Because if the players are confident and still performing like this, then that points straight to coaching, straight to scheme, straight to preparation. And that's not an easy fix. That's not something you solve in a week with some extra film study. And this leads to the obvious, uncomfortable truth. Nothing is changing. The head coach isn't changing. The defensive coordinator isn't changing. The scheme isn't changing. And if those things stay the same, how can anyone reasonably expect different results? You can't keep sending out the same players in the same system and expect a different outcome just because it's a new week or a different opponent. People are looking for answers. They want to know what can be done. Bring in new players? Fire someone? Try new looks? But realistically, nothing big is coming. There's no savior walking through that door. No magic fix. No switch to flip. It's the same defense, same coaches, same issues, and, unfortunately, the same results. And that's the frustrating part, because fans want to believe. They want to see signs that things are improving. But when the team keeps getting shredded through the air every single week, when no receiver ever seems to be covered, when quarterbacks are having their best games of the season against this group, it's hard to hold on to that belief. And yet, despite all of this, the Steelers are still sitting at the top of the division, at least for now. But make no mistake, this is not a team trending upward. This is not a group figuring things out or growing into a contender. This is a team barely holding on, hoping each week doesn't bring another unraveling. And with the Colts up next, a team with the best record in the league right now, that unraveling could continue. If you're still holding out hope that the Steelers are just going through a rough patch, that maybe this is all just part of a slow climb towards something better, then let me walk you through exactly why that optimism is hard to justify right now. Because what's happening on the field isn't just about injuries or execution or the occasional bad matchup. This is systemic. This is structural. This is a team that looks like it's stuck in a loop, making the same mistakes every week and acting like next Sunday will magically fix everything. But nothing about what we're seeing says this team is trending upward. After the game, there were plenty of questions about what's going wrong. One fan asked if a defensive playbook could even be changed mid-season. It's a fair question. When offensive coordinator Matt Canada was fired, the plays didn't just disappear overnight. The system stayed largely the same, and the offense tried to adapt around it. So now the question becomes, can the same thing happen with the defense? Can this team find a way to evolve its defensive approach before the season completely slips away? Based on what we've seen, it's hard to believe any meaningful adjustments are coming. And it's not about a lack of effort or players not buying in. It's about the fact that the system itself appears broken. The Steelers are playing with coverages that just don't hold up against modern NFL offenses. There are gaping holes in the middle of the field. There's no disguise, no deception. Quarterbacks know what they're getting before the ball is even snapped. Whether it's Joe Flacco or Jordan Love, it doesn't matter. They're dropping back, scanning the field, and finding open receivers without resistance. It's not about a couple of bad plays. It's every drive. It's every quarter. Now, if you're someone who watches games on TV, maybe you're not seeing the full scope of this. Maybe you catch the camera angles that zoom in tight on the line of scrimmage, and you don't always notice how wide open the receivers are until the ball's already on its way. But for those in the stadium, especially media members, scouts, or even fans sitting up high enough to see the whole field, it's obvious. There are guys running routes completely uncovered. And this isn't a one-time thing. It's every game, every team, every quarterback. And it's not just the stars. It's not just the Pro Bowl caliber receivers making plays. It's backups, it's slot guys, it's tight ends who should be covered by linebackers. Everyone is finding space against this defense. That two-point conversion to Romeo that we talked about earlier, that wasn't just a bad play. That was a complete breakdown of communication, responsibility, and awareness. No one was even on the same side of the field as him. That wasn't the result of a clever scheme or a perfect pass. That was just a team that didn't know what it was doing. And when that sort of thing keeps happening, not once, not twice, but game after game, then you have to stop asking what's wrong with the players and start looking at the coaches. But let's also be real. That's not going to change. Terrell Austin is still the defensive coordinator, and Mike Tomlin is still going to oversee every part of that defense. This isn't an organization that reacts quickly or dramatically during the season. They believe in continuity. They believe in loyalty. And sometimes that faith pays off. But not right now. Not with this unit. Not with these results. So what are we left with? Vague talk about execution. Empty promises about looking at everything. And constant references to effort, intensity, and winning your one-on-one. But that's not going to fix coverage busts. That's not going to fix schematic weaknesses. And it certainly isn't going to fix the complete lack of adjustment we've seen week after week. Other teams figure things out. They find what works and build on it. The Steelers? They just keep doing the same things and acting surprised when it doesn't work. It's exhausting. Not just for fans, but for the players too. You can feel it in their responses. When asked about confidence, they all say the right things. We're confident. We believe in each other. It's not a mental thing. But when the results look like this, how could it not be mental? How could players not be second-guessing every call, every read, every assignment? Whether they admit it or not, this is a group that plays like it doesn't believe it can stop anyone. And they shouldn't believe it, because the numbers back it up. The Steelers' defense is giving up over 270 yards per game through the air, the worst in the league. That's not just bad. That's historically bad. And it's not just a matter of one weak link. The entire secondary is struggling. Safeties are late getting over the top. Corners are losing in man coverage. Linebackers are too slow in zone. It's a complete breakdown on every level. And here's the kicker. This was supposed to be the identity of this team. Defense. Physicality. A throwback style of football. That's the vision. That's the narrative. But the reality? The reality is a team getting torched week after week, unable to adjust, unable to improve, and unable to stop even the most basic passing concepts. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. There's a new buzz swirling through the Steel City, and this time, it's more than just the sound of terrible towels whipping in the autumn wind. According to whispers circling the NFL rumor mill, the Pittsburgh Steelers have made a stunning move, landing none other than Caleb Williams, the generational quarterback talent once hailed as the next big thing. The future, it seems, has arrived in black and gold. The news reportedly broke quietly, without the usual fanfare or dramatic press conference. Williams, who's been the subject of endless speculation since his college days, is said to have touched down in Pittsburgh earlier this week. Sources close to the team describe this as a learning year, a period for the young star to absorb the playbook, the culture, and, above all, the teachings of head coach Mike Tomlin, a mentor known for his steady hand and no-nonsense leadership. Fans have already taken to social media to voice their excitement and skepticism. After all, the Steelers haven't been known for bold quarterback moves since the Ben Roethlisberger era. Yet this feels different. This feels like a statement that the franchise is ready to evolve, ready to embrace the future without losing its blue-collar roots. If anyone can mold Caleb into an NFL-caliber field general, it's Tomlin, one insider said. He's the kind of coach who builds men first, players second. What does this mean for the current quarterback room? That remains a mystery. But one thing's certain, the locker room just got a lot more interesting. Tomlin, ever the strategist, isn't likely to hand over the keys right away. Instead, he's expected to craft a bridge between experience and raw potential, shaping Williams into the franchise cornerstone many believe he's destined to become. Whether this is the dawn of a new dynasty or just another flicker of offseason hype, time will tell. But for now, the air in Pittsburgh crackles with possibility. The city that forged legends like Bradshaw and Big Ben may soon witness the rise of its next great quarterback. The future isn't coming anymore. It's already here, wearing number 13, and it's ready to learn from the best. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.